Hello, this is David Larson Levine. I am really thrilled that you're joining me for the first ever Shared Experience Summit. Let's just take a deep breath for a moment, be joyful that we've arrived at the same time, in the same place, and can share this experience. I'm going to begin with a brief presentation giving you an overview of the creator economy and what I mean by shared experiences. I'll talk a little bit about the types of people who might be joining us, what your backgrounds might be, what your interests might be, what your purpose might be in participating in this summit. And you'll be able to make the choice if this is for you or if this is not for you. I sure hope it is. We're just going to be experiencing the very tip of the iceberg over these next 3 or 4 days. And the journey together will be incredibly rewarding for those who choose to join me for what I believe is going to be the adventure of a lifetime. Welcome home. We are here at the Shared Experience Summit. I'm the founder and CEO of SCOBY Society, and we're going to embark on an incredible adventure today. I'd like us to start by just taking a deep breath. What you're going to do is start by breathing in through your nose, taking that deep into your mind, down into your lungs until your diaphragm fills. And then you're just going to hold it for another second or two. And then release it. And as you release it, count slowly in your mind to 4. And then you're going to want to do that again. Just breathe in deeply, all the way into your body, into the back of your lungs, and deep into your diaphragm, into your belly. And just hold it, and then let go again. We're going to do that one more time. Just breathe in deeply. And once more, we're in no rush. We're in no hurry. And we did that for an important reason. We're creating a safe space here. And the nature of safety is not about protecting yourself. It's not about erecting defenses. It's not about your locks. It's certainly not about weapons like guns or knives. Safety is something your body understands first, and then it takes a little while for your mind to catch up with it. So every time you breathe in, your body thinks for just a moment that there might be danger, because when you're fleeing from something or you're fighting, when you're startled, you're going to take a deep breath in, and that activates the sympathetic nervous system, and your heart rate increases ever so slightly. This happens every single time you inhale. When you exhale, your body understands that it's safe. You're relaxed. You can exhale. You don't need your blood and your muscles to be filled with oxygen on the ready. Over the course of the day, there are so many items that activate your sympathetic nervous system. Text messages, posts on social media, watching television programs or streaming, Netflix. All of these things activate worries, beliefs, concerns, memories from the past. All of those affect you as an organism. The other thing I want you to do is make sure you can pause this video. Make sure you have some water. I have my cup of water right here. Take care of yourself today. Hydrate. Nourish yourself. People often say that they're overwhelmed. And my executive coach, who you'll be meeting today, Howard Teich, who I've known and loved for over 24 years, well, over 2 decades at least, working on 24 years, used to say to me when I was overwhelmed, he would say, the human organism is only overwhelmed if you haven't inhaled oxygen for over 3 minutes, or you haven't had water for over 3 days, or you haven't had food for over 3 weeks. Then your body, you can be overwhelmed. Otherwise, it's actually just a small part of you that's overwhelmed. That part of you that we identify as the ego. That part that thinks it's running the show. That thinks it's in charge. That thinks it has some control over the universe and over your whole self. So we're going to move through this in a grounded way. Feel your chair. If you're on the floor, feel the floor. Feel gravity. Orient yourself in the universe. Because you're here. You've made it. There's nothing more to accomplish. There's nothing more to prove. And there's an enormous amount for you still to experience. So this is really about you. And let's talk about you for a moment, because there are many ways when you introduce yourself that you might describe yourself. In our society, one of the most common ways is what you do. So much of our conversation is about what we do, and very little is about who we are. There are very few opportunities to really see and hear each other, to really experience each other, and to share experiences in a way that we both, when those experiences are over, have really gained an enormous amount from each other, have really shared our gifts. So during this summit, I'm going to be very open with you. I'm going to be very authentic. I'm going to be modeling certain behavior. And I'm going to start with the truth that this video is pre-recorded. The summit that's unfolding over these days, all of the interviews are pre-recorded. Now, we are going to be introducing opportunities for us to connect live, and I'll go through that. And I want you to understand that you can write back to me by email. You can reach out to me on Facebook, chat with me. I'll be sharing my WhatsApp, my cell number, and there are all kinds of ways we can interact. I do know you as well, part of you, because most of us as human beings share most of ourselves. What differs is our very unique gifts. We are all on this planet because we have something genuinely important to share. And you're here, I believe, because you, like me, are not willing to settle. You're not willing to settle for a life, as Thoreau put it, of quiet desperation. You're not willing to settle for the struggle. You don't believe what you might have heard when you were a child, when someone else might have put you down. Part of you believes that. Part of you believe that. But you know that there is something inside that is truly significant that you have to share. And that you can be honored for that. You can be respected for that. And you can be valued for that. Not for your time punching the clock. Not for your efforts. But for what you have. What you can discover. And what you can share when you connect with others deeply. That's what this Shared Experience Summit is really about. You fundamentally are a creator. You are. By being on this earth, you are creating not just your life, but you're deeply influencing the lives of people around you. When I talk about a creator, I don't just mean content on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Every word, every expression, every thought influences your experiences and the experiences of those around you. And I don't mean this in a cheesy, new age, The Secret style manifestation or a Think and Grow Rich, that there's some sort of formula that you can follow where things will work out for you. This is not about a formula. This is not about a program. This is simply about reality, or as my mentor Howard Teich says, speed to reality. It's how fast that part of you that is conscious that it's conscious, your ego, recognizes what yourself, what your organism, what your intuition already knows. How fast can you catch up with that and make choices and bring your world forward? That's what we're going to be learning. That's what you're going to be experiencing over the course of the summit. So, what do I mean by a creator? Let's get back to what we do. I consider 3 categories or types of creators. They're professionals, like coaches, therapists, lawyers, accountants, plumbers, electricians, contractors, trainers. Whatever you do, if you have a practice, yoga instructor, Zumba instructor, martial arts, Reiki practitioner, I consider all of those professions. And if you're in one of those professions, then you have a practice. It might not be your primary source of income. You might want it to be your primary source of income. You might be part of an enormous law practice or consulting practice. But that is your profession, and I consider you a professional. Then there are the entrepreneurs. Those are the ones who are closest to my heart. I've been an entrepreneur since 1986. I'll tell you more about that. But there are also many types of entrepreneurs. There are those like me who've raised money from venture capitalists, from strategic partners, and built tech companies. There are those who are multipreneurs, who have lots of different activities and make a small amount of money from each of those, or solopreneurs, small business owners. Lots of entrepreneurs out there, lots of different types, styles, genres, but I also consider you a creator. And then there are executives, managers, staff members, people who work for big companies or medium-sized companies or small companies. But what you're doing here is really building up your career. I still consider you a creator. If you're an artist, you're a creator. Or whatever you are doing in the universe, you are a creator because you are co-creating reality with the community of all beings, your fellow two-leggeds, and your relations in the more than human world. We are all co-creating this together, actively. The question is, are you doing it consciously? Are you doing it wakefully? Or are you doing it automatically? That's the difference, in my mind, between a successful creator and one who is struggling. And that's what we're going to be learning more about over the course of this Shared Experience Summit. So as I said, you're a creator. I am a creator too. This was back when I was consciously a creator in my band, Senator Flux, writing songs, touring, recording, producing music videos. All of that is the act of creation. What I also want to bring in is the business and the money aspects. I've led several companies with varying degrees of success. And I want to bring forward the financial aspects, the money aspects of this. I consider money to be energy. Unless you're hoarding it, in which it's just kind of baggage. But if it's energy, if it's circulating, then it represents possibility spaces. And I'm going to be sharing with you ways that you can, whatever your passion is, get that green energy, that money energy moving through your life, into your life, out of your life, as investments, as new capabilities. All of it is to circulate money and to create valuable experiences, valuable for you and valuable for your clients, your customers, and your partners. So just a little bit more background. I've created companies in financial technology, in the video game industry, video game technology platforms that were on all of the major consoles. I built a renewable energy platform, a marketplace for providers and for people who wanted to install solar energy on their properties. And I built a blockchain company, a security token marketplace. So I have a great deal of experience in technology, in starting companies. That experience is valuable. It's useful, but it's certainly not everything. Some of you, all of you come to this with important experiences. But what's actually more important is that for these 3 or 4 days, you leave those experiences behind. You leave your beliefs behind. And you enter the fertile void with the beginner's mind. So that's what I did when I started my first company, which was an independent record label. I was in my dorm room. My roommate happened to play guitar. I played bass. And we said, hey, let's start a company. And we both made a list of our very favorite words and dropped those words into a hat. And actually we didn't. We wrote a list of our favorite words, and we exchanged those lists, and we each picked one from each other's list. So I picked Senator from his list, and he picked Flux from my list. And our band became known as Senator Flux. I put together a compilation album of Yale bands and local bands. I got to meet some amazing people in the punk community around New Haven. I won't give shout outs today, but you know who you are. It's been really nice to catch up with you on social media. And we created a scene. We had an enormous amount of fun recording, putting on shows. The highlight of the year was playing Wild Thing on cross campus. People were bringing every possible type of instrument, from violins to trombones to drums to guitars. We had amplifiers, and we just jammed on Wild Thing for hours. We did that for years in a row. We did that every year that I was in college. I have no idea if this is still a tradition at Yale, but if any Yaleys are seeing this, I hope you'll get the tradition moving again every spring on a beautiful day at the end of classes, before the end of classes, when you really need that gonzo, mojo, rock and roll experience. Go out and play Wild Thing in the middle of your campus. So this record that I funded and pressed all by myself. I drove to Philadelphia, watched them press it at disc makers, this vinyl coming out of a tube and these records being pressed. Went somewhere. Somebody discovered me. A record label based in the Netherlands read a review in a fanzine and signed us. We put out 2 records on that label. Then a bigger label signed us, and we wound up touring. We were on MTV, and it was a truly magical experience. And that is what I believe life should be like for everybody. I want a world. This isn't a should. It's not up to me. It's not up to us. it's, I want for you and for me a world that is like the ultimate concert, rave, um, simply vacation, simply experience. I don't want a world where we're punching the clock and we're one way at work and another way when we let our hair down, when we put on our ripped jeans. Um, that's what I'm going for. My mission in life is to tell the story of how we created a new world together. The way we can create a new world together is by understanding our past, cherishing our past, and making new choices that better serve us and better serve other people far into the future at every opportunity. So, when it was time to set aside my guitar uh, and my microphone and my saxophone and whatever else, my bass and everything else that I was playing, I made the leap into technology. And I did this because in 1991 or so, I discovered the internet. A friend of mine from college, I was at a wedding, said, there's this system called the MOO. It stood for Multi-User Object-Oriented Environment. And that will change your life. He gave me this little piece of paper that said Telnet, lambda dot park, Telnet, lambda dot moo dot xerox dot park dot org, something like that. This long string, port 8888. And when I got there, it was this magical world, this text-based virtual reality with all kinds of amazing things happening. People teleporting, people sitting in the hot tub all together. It was immersive, and it was all based on text messages because people were building software on other people's software. And I said, wow, this is incredible. And then in 1993, the first web browsers came out that supported images. NCSA's Mosaic had graphics and links to other things. And I said, wow, this is for me. I started my own company, a web development firm, and I presented a paper at the first international conference of the World Wide Web at CERN Particle Physics Lab, which has now come to be known as the Woodstock of the web. A lot of the people who developed some of the primary protocols and software and websites, the very first ones were there. And I wrote this book, Live Java Database to Cyberspace, and I really thought technology would change everything. Well, it kind of did and it kind of hasn't. We've sort of brought all of our old behaviors and conflicts to the internet. And I believe that there are very specific reasons why and things we can change and new choices we can make to bring the magic back to our lives and to our online lives. So way back in 1995, I moved out to the small town of Shepherdstown, West Virginia, into a home right on the river. And I did that because I believed, okay, the internet's here. I can do anything from anywhere. Now, in 1995, that was a little bit premature, but my wife and I, my wife Monica and I, were having children. Um, Zoe is our oldest, Milo is our middle child, and Daisy is our youngest. And I wanted them to experience life in nature. I wanted them to experience small town life where our friends weren't just technologists, accountants, lawyers, that we were with carpenters and bakers and farmers and scholars and writers and artists. I had this vision of a small town that I had experienced back when I was a punk rocker. We would ride our motorcycles out to the small town of Shepherdstown, grab breakfast, and then ride our motorcycles all around this beautiful state. And that's what I wanted my life to be like. Now we have a grandson, Oliver, and yes, life has been truly idyllic for us, with some notable exceptions, which I'll talk about a little bit more. So I've had this amazing opportunity. I've been awarded patents. I was awarded the Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young, NASDAQ, CNN, and USA Today. I've raised tens of millions of dollars in venture capital, and I created offerings that earned us millions and millions of dollars in revenue. I've been covered in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Forbes. I've been on Fox Business News. I've been on CBC's On the Money. I've partnered with big companies like Cisco, IBM, Sony, Google, and Oracle. And I've sold to companies like the Coca-Cola Company, Kraft Foods, and Johnson & Johnson. I've really experienced an incredibly broad range of business endeavors. Then everything changed. In October 2016, I raised money from a group of merchant bankers in Dallas that were backed by billionaires. And we did a deal that, in retrospect, I understand was a loan to own. We were growing extremely fast. We had investment bankers who were raising $40 million for us in a offering that was qualified by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. We needed a $12 million bridge loan in order to get there. So these merchant bankers offered us a deal for $12 million in 3 tranches of $4 million each. Well, after the first $4 million came in, everything changed. Because this was a secured loan, they wanted control of the company. They wanted me gone. They wanted to do it their way. And a power struggle ensued. And it did not go well. It didn't go well for me. It didn't go well for them. But it really sent me into a downward spiral. I really didn't know if I could recover from it. Emotionally, financially, in terms of my spirit and my ability to create again. I really went into a very, very dark place, which really ultimately almost destroyed many of my most cherished relationships. But fortunately, there are people that I'm going to introduce to you who really cared for me and supported me and believed in me and gave me another chance. One of those people who you're going to meet is Bill Thatcher, who was executive director of a nonprofit called the More to Life Foundation. And he engaged me as entrepreneur in residence. Now, this was a global nonprofit that provided experiential learning all around the world, in New Zealand, in South Africa, in the United Kingdom, in the United States. And this group operated in hotels, in conference centers and retreat centers, and it was all very much face-to-face. It was all very much in the training room. Even their sales and marketing was done through person-to-person enrollment and through preview nights, through life talks, through meeting these brilliant educators, facilitators, trainers, and mentors. So, for the organization, in March of 2020, again, everything changed. All of a sudden, in a 2-week period, this wonderful organization lost 100% of their revenue worldwide. So I was in the right place at the right time. I had the technical skills, the entrepreneurial skills to launch an online academy in a 3-week period. We transitioned these courses. There were parts that were self-directed, parts that were on Zoom, real time. They flowed together, and they were a huge success. People from all over the world were participating together. I was able to participate with people in South Africa, in the United Kingdom, all over the US, Australia, New Zealand. It was Belgium, Spain. It was truly magical. While we were in lockdown, we were liberated. We could connect in a way that we had never connected. There were experiences that were so moving. I found myself crying, sharing and learning and growing, crying because of my experiences and crying because of others. And it was all due to these masterful trainers, facilitators, coaches, fellow participants, fellow students who were supporting each other in these marvelously crafted processes that allow us to connect, allow us to present ourselves authentically, to see each other, to hear each other authentically, and to create and co-create, to change ourselves, and in changing ourselves, transform the world. So I owe a huge debt of gratitude to Kate Bradford Brown, to Roy Witten, who developed this system of More to Life, which opened my eyes to what was really possible in shared experiences. So meanwhile, everything was moving to Zoom. My brother-in-law had a birthday party on Zoom. We had game night with our family, with our extended family, therapy, moved to Zoom. Um, of course, all of our meetings, weddings, book clubs, everything was moving online. Coaching, workouts, Peloton became huge. There suddenly became stars who were trainers. Amy Love, I don't have a Peloton, but I heard her on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. All of a sudden, there were shared experience stars, celebrities that were emerging from this pandemic. But then, when I was really trying to bring more to life forward, I discovered a new challenge: the big tech treadmill. So, More to Life as a nonprofit wanted to keep their prices low, but the cost of enrolling new students was all over the place. It all depended on what other people were bidding for capturing your attention on social media or getting you to click on a result in search. Moving from a person-to-person, face-to-face enrollment process to an online sales and marketing process was an enormous cultural shift. And I recognized it wasn't just for nonprofits. It was true for entrepreneurs. It was true for big companies. That the term is customer acquisition costs, or CAC, in business. If your cost of customer acquisition is changing constantly, it's very hard to set your prices. Your strategies need to constantly change in order to maintain a viable business or viable practice if you're a professional. Whether you're a big company, small company, just what you need to learn in terms of analytics and the creative side and the communication side, all of that is difficult because of machine learning. At the foundation of the internet are these systems: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon, Google, that are optimized for revenue. Now, in some cases, it's ad revenue. In some cases, it's sales, like Amazon with transactions. Some cases, it's subscriptions, like Netflix. But it's all about optimizing engagement, optimizing the financial rewards. So all of us on this big tech treadmill are, the faster you go, the more this whole system is optimized to require you to learn more and work harder. There is literally no way to get ahead because it is designed that way. Once you figure out a new strategy, once you figure out a new method, once you think, I've got it made, something changes. That's actually the foundation of a lot of the great work of Russell Brunson. He tells the story of selling online, and Google changed the algorithm. So his customer acquisition costs went up. He needed to essentially create a new company, ClickFunnels, so that he could increase the lifetime value. That's another very important metric, LTV. He increased the lifetime value of his offerings, of his customers. That's what the order bump is. That's what the upsell is. That's the foundation of the funnel. He had to do that because Google was making things moving faster and faster and faster. So all of these strategies, high ticket, micro offers, challenges, all of these are all of us compensating for this system that we are now essentially I very consciously don't want to use the word enslave because I'm not comparing this experience to people being violently ripped out of their families and their indigenous cultures and forced to a new place where they are treated as property. What I am saying is that the same forces that allowed us to dehumanize each other, that hypnotized us into dehumanizing each other, the forces of colonialism, the forces of settler colonialism, of imperialism, the forces of oppression, are being codified in these social media systems, these search systems. I'm taking a course right now on repression from Patrick Blanchfield at the Brooklyn Institute of Social Research. And I'm learning more about psychology, about Freud and Lacan and Foucault and some of the psychological dynamics that happen unconsciously when we repress memories and oppress ourselves. And when that moves outward and we oppress other people. We're reading Chairman Mao and we're reading J. Edgar Hoover. We're reading CIA manuals. So I am on a lifelong journey to liberate myself through ceremony, through my intellectual learning, through connecting with people from my heart. All of those are ways that we can step off the treadmill, that we can hand each other the red pill and see each other authentically, not connected through this matrix of illusion and delusion and frustration and despair, where we blame each other and put toxic messages on each other, perpetuate behavior like we saw last week with Scott Rudin, a professor of stage, a producer of great works on stage and screen, that I behave one way at work, a different way at home. We wear all these masks. That's what I'm inviting you to step off of. How are we going to do that? This big tech treadmill, once I saw it, once I understood it, it led to this big idea, which is fostering the creative economy as a matchmaker. If you're a creator, what you want is your clients right there. You want your income just there. So we support you in preparing, engaging, and delivering your offerings to your clients, to your customers, to your partners. For clients, all the things we want out there. I just mentioned Patrick Blanchfield. I discovered him on Twitter. He wrote brilliant tweets. And one day, one of his tweets was, "Hey, I'm teaching this course on repression." I was like, sure, I'd love to learn from him. Now, there was a long, circuitous route that got me there. There are 25 people there. What if Patrick just automatically had those people because there were people in their conversations that this matchmaking service already knew would be a great fit? When I look at the people in that program, there are at least 3 user experience professionals. Now, in a traditional matchmaking, you wouldn't say, or if Patrick was marketing this, he probably wouldn't say, "I want user experience executives or professionals in the Pacific Northwest," right? But 3 of them emerged out of 25 people in this course. So what is common about the people? What is similar? Well, that's what Scoby, my new startup, can find out through machine learning that is used applied in a very, very different way. So what we're doing is fostering heartfelt conversations, and we're letting these creators, including you, train the machine learning in what serves you, what fills your heart with joy, what expands your horizons, what opens up new possibility spaces for you, not what addicts you, enrages you, but keeps you scrolling and clicking. Okay? That's the difference with what we're building with Scoby and what is out there in the rest of social media. So we're building this complete ecosystem, which we're inviting you to here today for the first time. And this will probably go live later than I had hoped. I'm looking at the clock now. It's 10:01. I promised that this would start at 10. It's going to take me a little while to get this up there. And but that's okay. I'm not in a rush. I'm here these 4 days for you. So I do apologize for any frustration of you clicking that button and wondering if something is going to appear. But we will enjoy our time together, I promise. So individuals or enterprises could be your clients as a creator. Or if you're here for new experiences, I would like for you to gain tools in co-creating those so that you can also serve yourself as well as other people. What that also means is that within this ecosystem, there is certification. So creators can train other creators and clients can become creators. So everyone here can gain new skills, new capabilities. And we can all partner with each other to both develop new channels, but also build teams. So you might become a Creators Guild member and offer some of the services that I'm creating, some of the offerings that I'm creating. And, of course, introduce your own. That's what I mean by a complete ecosystem. And there are many types of creators. Some of you are in fashion, beauty, travel. Some of you are actors. Some of you are trainers, coaches, mentors, educators. You're in real estate. You're in construction. You're in fitness, diet, sales, marketing. You're an executive. You're in crafts, photography, art, whatever it is. You are a creator. So what we're going to introduce over the course of this summit, and I'm not going to tell you when, so pay attention. We are going to be introducing our app, Scoby Social, for the very, very first time. This is a place to offer shared experiences. In this example, it's meditation yoga. But again, you can offer anything that you want to share. And you'll be able to choose different patterns of these. You'll be able to offer gifts, and you'll be able to support your career in bringing your offerings to your ideal client. Now, this is the old way. This is a classic sales funnel. What's a funnel? It's basically a form of inbound marketing where it starts with what we talked about here as the treadmill. You've got to get people's attention. Now, your ideal client, by definition, already wants what you have to offer. They're looking for it. Machine learning out there is based on intent. There's a new machine learning algorithm at Google called BERT. And BERT is an algorithm for intention. So you have an intention. There's a path. There's a journey that you want to embark on. There's something that you want to acquire or own. There's something that you want. That's why you're here. That's why you're online. That's what we're doing. That's why they used to call it surfing. Internet Explorer still is one of the browsers. That's what you're doing out there. You have a certain intent. Well, why is it so complicated to get from here for the mouse to find the cheese? That's the bottom line. Your offering is the cheese. If you're a creator, your ideal client is the mouse. In some cases, you're the mouse looking for the cheese. Always. Sometimes you're the mouse, sometimes you're the cheese. But this was the funnel that we developed to enroll students in a nonprofit. So a registration page, getting added to a list, a video presentation, reminder sequences to watch it, then some sort of form that would say more about you, scheduling an individual consultation session or a group session. Finally, you're in a live preview. You're actually engaging with one of these marvelous trainers or facilitators. And then you get to enter your credit card and you are then part of a course. Incredibly ineffective, inefficient, and expensive to get your ideal client or your ideal student from here to here. So the new way is simple. We are going to be on Scobie together. Your offerings are going to be on Scobie. Your clients are going to be on Scobie. Whether you're selling cosmetics and you want to help with makeovers on Scobie Live, those people who are interested in makeovers will discover you through machine learning, be part of your sessions, and make the choice on whether they want to purchase from you, whether they want to train in yoga or martial arts or whatever you're offering. Real estate. We are bringing the instant shared experience to the creator economy. So there are 3 steps in this, which we'll be sharing. You'll be preparing. That's what I've been doing for the last several months. I've been preparing myself, and right now I'm preparing you. I'm giving you context. I'm giving you background so that when we enter these shared experiences together, when we engage with each other live, our connection will be much more profound. I will gain from you. You will gain from me. We will co-create an experience through deep engagement. And then finally, if you choose to move forward, I will deliver in Live sessions I will deliver through self-directed programs that include video, include text. Who knows, I might show up at your home or your office, all kinds of ways to deliver. I might send you something, I might ship you a book. But those three stages of preparing, engaging, and delivering are really the essence of the creator economy and the essence of this shared experience summit. Becoming profoundly capable at preparing, engaging, and delivering results. You might have heard of Clubhouse. It's just about a year old. It'll be a year old in May. And already this tweet says, Clubhouse is dead. All I see are scammy marketing pitches and fake experts on my feed. The live curation problem is incredibly difficult to fix, and I've been waiting for them to fix it for months, but nope, no improvements. The reason I invited you and the reason I invited these guest creators, are because the live curation problem is incredibly difficult. And I want you and I want all of my guests, all of my mentors, all of my coaches, and many of my clients to train our machine learning engine so that it becomes better and better and better at matching, at understanding intent and matching that with solutions, matching that with guidance, matching that with support, matching that with offerings. So that's what we're going to be doing together. We call our machine learning engine Oprah. Why? Because Oprah curated the national conversation for years. She discovered Dr. Phil when she needed a coach for a trial. She was being sued by the beef industry. Dr. Phil said Oprah's way of being was to recommend what meant something in her life and offering that to her audience. So other people who meant something to her, Dr. Oz, Gayle King, Nate Berkus, Suze Orman, and Rachel Ray. She became a platform for a global conversation. So our core value proposition is going from this complex sales funnel environment to the instant, immediate, shared experience. And one thing, right now, we are still in a sales funnel, and before the end of this summit, we will be in a shared experience. In my journey through sales funnels, I call a journey through hell. Not that I don't love some of these people. Maybe I love all of these people. And I consider myself in this standing on the shoulders of giants. Jeff Walker's product launch formula, Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels, Kevin Nation's sales methods, Grant Cardone's 10X, Roland Frazier, Kurt Malik, Amy Portersfield, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Dean Grazio, all of these people brought together, Frank Kern, brought together certain aspects of mindset, consciousness, and technology, and mojo, and skills, and expertise, and created an environment where people could have a greater possibility space, lead the lives they wanted to lead. what is challenging about this, and what for me didn't ultimately work, is that they're all formulas that you have to learn, and they'll only work for a particular period of time because the world changes, technology changes, culture changes. So then you have to sign up for another course and learn something again. Well, what we're doing is, as Steve Miller says, you have to go through hell before you get to heaven. And so going through this, I recognized that there really are no formulas. I mean, there are formulas, but what I wanted to bring was how you could build your own practice, your own business, or your own career based on your own gifts. So there wasn't some potential mismatch, like Grant Cardone might not be for you, or Jeff Walker might not be for you. I wanted you to be able to design and develop your pathway that not only met your needs, but also met the needs of your ideal clients. So how did I do this? I went to some of my favorite people and some of my mentors, some of my friends, some of my clients, some of my coaches. And you'll be meeting many of these people. Nicole Triplett, Colleen Cotter, Judy Dumont Barter, Howard Teich, Four Arrows, Alex Magruder, Arman Ananian, Warren Kahn. You'll be meeting these people over the course of this summit. You'll be learning from them. And ultimately, once you're on our app, you'll be experiencing them and you'll be sharing experiences with them. So just a little bit more context on the creator economy. A venture capital firm, Signal Fire, published a report, a blog post, talking about the three phases of the creator economy. It started with platforms, which, through recommendation engines, machine learnings, match people with audiences. That's how it started. I remember when I first started on Instagram, I was traveling and we were in Barcelona in Finland, and I would look for people with accounts there. And it was just a wonderful sharing. And people who started following me because I happened to be in Barcelona, I'm still interested in their lives. So that's the platforms were phase one. Phase two was really all about the brands. It was called the influencer economy, but it was really just trying to get enough followers so someone would pay attention to me, a brand would pay attention to me, and then it would go to I could make money. I could essentially monetize my followers. Well, that still only works for a very small number of people. And it takes an enormous amount of work. Props to my dear friends who have built millions of followers. I did not have the time or even interest in putting myself out there in that way. So phase three was a sweet spot for me. You didn't need millions of followers. You could, as a creator, become a full-fledged business in and of yourself with multiple revenue streams, all kinds of different projects. And I'm going to be sharing more about my projects, and you'll be seeing the projects of some of my clients. That's where we are now. So this economy is anticipated to be $400 billion by 2026. couple years ago it was at 100 and almost $170 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of energy moving through this economy. The market landscape, there's Clubhouse, which I mentioned, and I love Clubhouse. Some of the people you'll be meeting here, I encountered on Clubhouse. Patreon is really essentially busking. That's your hat that you put out there, and hope some of your audience tips you, drop some money in. Substack for newsletters. OnlyFans for those who are willing to take off their clothes. And Instagram live rooms. Now Facebook is introducing hotline, shared experiences, creator economy. All of these things are starting to interact. All of these things are now available. So where we fit in, we don't want to replace all these things. Where we fit in is we're introducing over the course of the summit, for the first time ever, we're introducing Scobie Academy, where you can learn the skills to thrive in the creator economy. We're introducing Scobie Social, which will match creators with ideal clients in live, real-time, individual or group sessions. And delivering. We're going to be providing complete support for creators, your clients, and all of your offerings. So that's what we're bringing to market. That's what we're bringing to life over the course of this summit. So my hope for you is that you make good money as a creator. And now we have the call to action, or as Joseph Campbell called it, the call to adventure. I hope you'll stay with me on this journey through these 3, maybe 5 days. There's a lot I'm discovering and experiencing, and it turns out it didn't even fit into a 3-day summit. So my deep gratitude and appreciation for joining me. This would not be the same without you, because this is a shared experience. This is the first part of that shared experience. This is preparing for the engagement. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the other side.